Hello and welcome to the pilot episode of Fuel, Fire, and Freedom, the rowdiest car and truck podcast on the planet. Three automotive enthusiasts, two professional mechanics, and a former Navy nuclear engineer. We're talking horsepower, burnouts, automotive adventures, and everything that makes internal combustion the greatest invention since sliced bread and the Second Amendment. I'm Brandon Bolach. With me are my good friends Spencer Medley and Jordan Hodat. We'll take a moment to let them introduce themselves. Jordan, how are you today?
Doing good. Another snowy day in Colorado. I'm Jordan Odap, 12 years in the automotive field, Ford Senior Master Technician. Work at an independent diesel repair shop now. Spend my time fixing the old 7 tree, daily driving the 6.4.
Very nice. Spencer, how are you today? I hear you got some snow out there in Illinois.
We got a little snow. My name is Spencer. For those who don't know me, I have quite a bit of automotive experience, but I don't consider myself a professional. I consider myself a pro functional. I'm pretty good at making shit work. My main focus here is we're in the Rust Belt, so on top of that, I'm kind of in BFE. So with that comes its separate challenges. I own a little small shop that we do pretty good at trying to provide for our community, and as far as any kind of my favorite vehicle goes, it's what runs and has gas in it. So there we go. What do we got going on, Brandon?
Not much. So, what are we doing here? You're probably wondering, what is this podcast about? Whether you stumble upon us by accident or you're fed up with all the other car podcasts out there because they don't quite meet your flavor, whatever that reason is, we're grateful you're here. We're three guys who grew up together in Westminster, Colorado. We went to the same high school, took the same auto shop class, and have been good friends ever since. In this podcast, we're going to mostly talk about all things automotive. We'll have a few main topics to discuss. Those are going to be broken up by a few smaller topics that we'll try to add, some special flavors into there and make it interesting for you to, listen to. And we'll always add something from outside the automotive world that'll fall underneath that freedom banner. For example, today that's going to involve the three of us are going to have a battle royale debating what we believe is the best overall deer hunting cartridge. So grab a cold one, turn it up, tell your neighbors, tell your grandma. It's time to let freedom ring. Today's first topic, resto mods. Do they ruin classic cars or are they cool? Spencer, I'm coming to you first. What do you think?
Now listen, a resto mod, it's a necessary evil. Okay, you have everybody's grandpa coming up to you when you see it. They see an LS and something. They go, "Oh, you fucking ruined a classic. Why didn't you keep the old stove bolt in that old '55 Chevy?" Grandpa, it only goes 55 miles an hour, and everybody else is going around me. Okay, it's a necessary evil that if done right, the car is more beautiful than it came out factory. Okay. There is a time and place where we keep things original, and that's car shows and the parades, okay? But if you want a functional vehicle that's cool and you can use every day, Resto Mod is the way to go. You want to get up to highway speed and you want to look cool while you're doing it, okay? That's the end of my speech.
Well, what do we think defines a resto mod? Because there's quite a bit of gray between taking, a rusted hunk, dropping an LS in it and making that, a more functional car, because it would be a more functional car. But is that a resto mod?
That's more my style of resto mod. The rusty hunk of junk with a motor in it, because I don't like bodywork.
I mean, you can argue, of course, you say gray area. Of course, we're starting to get into fine hairs. Is it a rat rod? Is it just a shit box with a different motor in it? What are we talking about here, boys? A resto mod I would classify as something that's very nicely well done bodywork wise. Upgraded brakes, upgraded drivetrain. That we have better than the 50-horse sewing machine that Grandpa used to farm with. The it's to a point that a, a resto mod I would consider something that you would see at say SEMA.
Yeah, I think we lost Spencer there for a second, but like we said, he's out in rural Illinois and they are getting absolutely slammed by a snowstorm. So if we lose Spencer for a second, that's why. Uh, I agree
Am I
with you,
back?
Spencer. Can you hear us? Are you back?
I'm back.
All right. So I agree. When I picture a resto mod in my head, I think of something that is elegant. The bodywork is near pristine. I also think of an American classic. I don't necessarily, it doesn't need to be an American classic. It could be, a classic Mercedes, but it's just not what comes to my mind. I think of an American classic car that's been upgraded. Like you said, something that would be worthy of being on the SEMA show floor and not, a rusty hunk of junk that's got a new, just a newer engine in it and a newer transmission in it. That I think is more falls under kind of a street rod format.
Don't get me wrong. That's my kind of my kind. That's the size I wear. You know what I'm saying? I love something that you can drive. If like Jordan said earlier, if it has something newer that gets down the road just fine, but we don't have to worry about the body work. That's all right by me. It's less washing. You know what I'm saying?
It's a resto mod.
Rusto.
Or rustoma.
A Rustoma. So Jordan, what do you like? Do you actually think resto mods are ruining classic cars or
I
do you think?
don't think so. I think I don't know, it's kind of like a new version of like old school hot rodding. You know, back in the day, you'd slap a bigger motor in your car, go faster, bigger brakes, whatever you could. Versus now, our available engine options are just through the roof. You do a LS in pretty much anything. You can almost put a Coyote in anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's all standalone. You can put a manual trans. You can do an auto trans if you want. You can, Crown Vic front end swap just about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Put a Ford 8.8 or a 9-inch in the back of almost anything also. I don't know. The resto mod thing, I know you get the purists that it's a GM product. I need a GM motor. I need a GM trans. I need a GM rear end. Okay. Well, not always the best option.
Right.
It's like the Fox body guys putting an LS in it. I don't like it, but it serves
Not
a
my
purpose.
car.
Yeah, not my car. I mean, that's a great point. Everyone has their own flavor, and whatever works, what you want is what you should do.
Yeah, that's what's cool about the resto mod thing. You can do it to your flavor. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you want a
I
good
think
looking body, but you want anything underneath the hood, go for it.
if you have, a very rare classic car, and what comes to my mind is some of these special edition Chevys, like the Yanko Camaros or some special paint scheme Cudas, that they already came with a pretty special engine in them in the first place. I
Right.
think in that case, I think you try to keep it as original as possible because it is a timepiece classic. But if you just have a 65 Mustang with a 289 in it, you want to have some fun in it, drop a Coyote in it, put a Tremec, modern Tremec in it, and put a better suspension underneath it. And now you got a really cool car that previously isn't really all that desirable compared to, a 390 fastback.
Yeah, there are certain cases where it does help. Of course, then you start getting into clones and you start getting into those kind of special cases of, well, my satellite's actually a Roadrunner. Well, no, you just said it was a satellite and you just cloned a Roadrunner. That's
Yeah.
a whole different case. But then again, here comes old grandpa. My satellite had a 318 in it. And not this fucking 440 bullshit. But you know no
I
matter
think you're
what,
ready to be a grandpa.
you're gonna piss off anybody that whatever you do to it to your car, you're gonna piss off anybody. But to come back, yes, a resto mod would be better done to Mustang that came with a straight six, or a lesser, like you said, a lesser value car. Not the Shelbys, not the Yankos, not the Mr. Norms. You know, the people that have those cars already know the value of the history of the vehicle. And so the likelihood of those vehicles being heavily modified is less likely. But you
That's
got
fair.
guys like you got guys like us that go into a waterway and go to farm. Hey man, how about that '65 Chevy? I kind of want it. And he goes, shit, I forgot that thing was back there. Fucking take it. I don't give a shit. You know, and next thing you know, he goes, holy shit, why is there a freaking Duramax in that damn thing? I don't remember that thing being 4-wheel drive. And what it does is it resto modding, any kind of modification to really any vehicle. What it does is it keeps these cars on the street. It keeps them alive. And so if someone wants to do something radical to a car, the way I see it is at least it's still on the road,
When I
That's a good point.
or in somebody's garage on jack stands.
At least the thought of it being on the road is there.
Right. It's still it's not rotting away.
It has hope. It has hope. The I when I was younger, I used to think resto mods. I used to actually think that they kind of ruined cars. I thought, why are you doing this? Keep it classic, keep it original as much as possible. And my stance in this is has changed a lot. And to the exact point that you made, Spencer, it's it's just cool. Make it, do what you can with it. Keep these cars on the road. Make them unique. Put a Duramax in a 1960 Cadillac Fleetwood and make it cool. That's something that I didn't appreciate when I was younger, and something
would
that
be
I've
cool.
grown to. Yeah, it would be cool. And make something
Winter
that
project.
yeah, add it to the list. Start looking on the marketplace for Fleetwoods today. But it's something that I've come to really appreciate with time. And then another thought I have on this topic, and I'm curious if you guys agree with me on this, but if, our grandpas back in the day, if they had the options that, we have today, and Jordan, you listed, all these different, basically now we have way more options than ever before. I would argue that they would have been resto modding cars all the way back then if they could.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they were technically.
they were.
We just have all these categories to put them into. They were just all hot rods.
Yeah, everything was just
That's
hot rod.
true. I think the classic 57 Chevy with a more modern small block Chevy in it to make it more of a hot rod. To me, that is kind of the original resto mod.
Yep. Well, yep, or a T bucket, or a Model A with a newer Chevy, a small block Chevy in it, Ford 9-inch rear end.
Yeah,
That is the epitome of a hot rod. Anybody that says hot rod, you think of I think of a 32 Deuce,
All right. Well, any other final thoughts on resto mods and if they ruin classics? To me, it sounds like we're all in agreement that they don't. They're pretty unique. They're pretty cool. And ultimately, I think if you're just doing something with an old car, it's awesome that you're even trying to attempt something like that.
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Keep on hot rodding. Cut it up, weld it up, stick it back together, put it on the damn road.
There we go.
Don't just keep it on the jack stands, folks. Got to stay focused on your project. Get off your ass and go out to the garage, get it done.
Some good
Jack
life
stand
advice,
warriors.
Spencer. The problem is when you have too many projects to
Guilty.
split your time. Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
looking
know
at
that feeling.
you. Neither of you guys do. Yeah.
Don't know that feeling
All
at
right.
all.
Well, so we'll move on to and the next thing we're here to discuss, and that is we're gonna rank what we believe are personal choices on what we think is the from 1 to 7 Ford heavy duty modern diesel pickup trucks. So we're going back to 94 with the old body style Fords to present day 2025s. And so we got 7 categories. We have the 94 to 97 old body style 7.3 Powerstroke, the 99 to '03 Super Duty 7.3, the '03 to '07 6-liter, the 2008 to 2010 6.4 Powerstroke, the 2011 to 2016 steel body 6.7s, the 2017 to 2019 Aluma Duty 6.7s, and then the 2020 to present 6.7 Powerstrokes. Now, there is a lot more differences between all these trucks, but we didn't feel like ranking 13 different trucks, so we combined a couple. The 6-liter can be broken down almost into 2 or 3 different generations in itself. The 6.7 definitely can be broken down into a lot more. So we compress that. We know that, but we didn't want to rank 13 trucks. So Spencer, let's start with you. What is your bottom of the barrel, the last one that you would personally get?
Jordan, this is going to hurt your feelings, but I will not pick up another 6.4. A
That's
6.4, 6.4 came out of the factory as a parts truck. Okay, that's everybody wants the axles. Everybody wants the transmissions
It's
to throw
true.
in their 6-liters. Okay, the
Now, you daily drove a 6.4 for a while.
oh, absolutely. Yep, I had a ZF6 1-ton, and that truck did not act like a 6.4 the entire time I made payments on it. And the week after I made my final payment, it did every 6.4 thing in the book. So right now it is in pieces. I sold the engine out of it, and the bed is on my 7.3 beater. And there's more to come with all the extra parts on it. But I would say my as much as it hurts to say, the only time I'd buy another 6.4 is if it was a special edition. That would be the only time I'd buy another 6.4 truck. But I would not. I would love a Cabela's. Oh my God, I want a Cabela's so bad. But not
If anyone's
enough.
got a 6.4 Cabela's that they want to sell to Spencer, feel free to shoot us a message. He would happily buy it off you.
It's got to be long bed and red. There's a challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to say there's a real fine line. But the 6.4s have great interiors. They ride a lot better than the older trucks. But unfortunately, the downfall of it all is the expense to fix it, to maintain it, and the reliability is just not there.
So Spencer, I agree with you. My bottom of the barrel number 7 pick is also the 6.4.
You're teamed up, Jordan. Look out.
And
Picking on my number 1, man.
and I know, they can be so cool if they're done right, but for the average person, they're just not the right truck for them. I think you need to be, you need to have you need to be a diesel mechanic, I think, to keep these things on the road. And it is too bad because they had a beautiful body style. They have my favorite wheels of all the Powerstrokes. They have some really unique special editions. The Harley Davidson is a gorgeous truck. And, there's some redeeming qualities about them. Like I think they were the first Super Duties that offer the locking rear axle on the FX4 packages. I think I'm right on that.
No, the 6.4s didn't have the ELD.
The 6.4s don't have the rear locker?
Oh.
Okay, well, I clearly know what I'm talking about. But the is it so? Did that come out with the steel body 6.7s?
Yep.
Okay, interesting. For some reason I thought it was on the 6.4s first, but just you learn something every day. So
6.4 is the last generation of Super Duty to offer a manual transmission.
that is true.
I will give it that.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is it has all these things that should make it one of our number ones, and unfortunately that engine just has too many problems, I think, for the average person. But Jordan, you get to prove us all wrong. So what's your number 7 there?
My number 7 is the 99 to 03 Super Duty 7.3.
What?
Interesting pick. I think you're gonna get some hate mail for that.
I'm sure I will, but that is my number 7.
What you get well, you can defend yourself. What's your reasoning?
Just the ride quality sucks in those. The interior is just as bad as the 03, 04 6-liters. They don't make power. The tranny sucks. To an extent.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just listening. Go ahead.
I'm just. I know that body style is probably the least desirable for me personally too. Every 30,000 miles you're doing front end links. The ball joints were way worse than the newer generation. The coil sprung. The leaf springs suck. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Do they run quite for a while? Do they last? Are they workhorses?
They can be if you keep up with them, but not always. It's probably the most prone generation to oil leakage, consistent problems like that. At least in my experience.
That's fair.
I'd rather touch a 94 to 97 at work than a 99 to 03.
Yeah.
Now, as far as between the two different 7.3 Powerstroke generations, of course, your OBS is going to have the style. It's going to look better. As far as the 99 to 03 7.3, I think is more sought after because you have a little bit. The interior in the 99 to 03 compared to the OBS is going to be a little bit better. That's what I would consider more of a longer winded vehicle when you take on the highway. That you it's a little more comfortable than the blue seats and the porno red seats of the OBSs that didn't have any stuffing in them to begin with. But the 7.3 is just so cheap to fix compared to all the the newer generations. It's the 99 to the 03 is the first iteration where we actually start seeing a little bit more comfortable cabin.
It's true.
If you if you get a lower mile one, of course, it's going to be outrageous because it's got a motor that doesn't make any power compared to the 6-liter, the 6.4, the 6.7. But because it doesn't have as much power, it doesn't hurt itself. And so it's a 1,000,000-mile motor, of course, as Grandpa's going to tell you. It has the old truck bullshit where the fucking oil cooler leaks, the oil pan's rusting out in it. The H-pop lines are finally getting enough dry rot that they're starting to go, but it's a hell of a lot cost-wise easier to maintain and repair a 7.3 than I believe the newer trucks in our list.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's less electronics too.
Absolutely. Yeah. But
I think if you're trying to get into the diesel world, you're younger, you don't have a lot of experience. I think the Super Duty 7.3s are a great entry into
don't say that.
Entry into the diesel
Don't raise
world.
the value of these trucks.
Everything else is already, it is kind of mind-boggling how when you look at truck metrics and you compare an OBS 7.3 to a Super Duty 7.3, the Super Duties can tow more, they have better payload, they ride better, they have better interiors, they make slightly more power, and yet they're a fraction of the cost of an OBS 7.3.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it depends.
for the
Yeah.
most part.
I don't know. That 99-03 body style rests out arguably faster than the OBS body
Than the
style.
Oh, I
OBS.
can't tell you how many trucks out here that are early 2000s that the bed support's rot out, so they're doing this thing,
Yeah.
going down the road, right? I mean, every Super Duty generation has terrible cab mounts, but that's the biggest issue that I see in the Rust Belt is beds rusting out. That's always. But if you're going to use a truck, it's a great opportunity to upgrade to a flatbed. Then you can see how rusted out your frame is.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But the only other kind of whiff I have about the '03 to or any kind of older generation truck, really, this anything from the 90s, early 2000s, is we see that yes, there is less electronics in it, but try to find and those older electronics is a little
It's
tougher
impossible.
now. But of course they're so simple it's not too hard to bypass them at the same time. So
That's a good
there's
point.
that if we go back to our last discussion about resto mod and all that stuff, yeah, you can bypass all the old stuff, but if you want to try to keep it original, trying to find all these original parts is starting to get tougher for these older trucks. So in that context, you kind of get a little bit more of a challenge.
So, with that being said, Jordan, I'm gonna keep you on the ranking. What's your number
The
6
agenda.
choice?
My number 6 is a 6-liter.
Oh, 6-liter. Okay.
For most of the same reasons too. You know, the interior leaves a lot to be desired. The 6-liter can be one of the most expensive engines to fix depending on situations, right? You have head problems, you have EGR problems, you have oil cooler problems, injector cup problems, turbo problems. There's so much going on and such old technology running it that you get a 6-liter in the hands of the wrong guy trying to fix it, and you'll be throwing $10,000+ at it, and you may not have a fixed truck. Some people are much better at solving those problems, but
Some people know they know how to whistle to them and get them to get the 6-liter to purr.
the Chewbacca noise.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I've never been a huge fan of the 6-liter. They make great power. You can do a whole lot with them. The trans is significant improvement over the 4R100 and E4OD. There's so much. There's a lot better in that aspect.
The 05 and up axles are quite an upgrade too.
Yeah. A lot of people take the 05 to 07 axles and swap them in the OBS trucks or even the 99 to 03s.
Yeah, but comparatively to the 99 to 03s, the 05 and newer axles are just better in every way. They're stronger. They have a bigger ring gear.
The rear's the same, ring gear size. The brakes changed. So you have bigger brakes. The front, you have a bigger unit bearing, bigger U-joints, coil spring. Significant improvement.
If you were to look for a 6-liter and you actually wanted to buy one for whatever reason, I think you go for a 05 or to 07.
Yeah, I'd go for a 6 or 7.
Not a bad idea.
Now, if
we broke it down into the 6-liter generations, this is where it
We'd
gets
be
tricky.
Here all day, boys.
Yeah. Because I'd rank an 05 to 07 higher than the overall 6-liter.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
interesting. So my sixth choice, and because my 6 liters higher, and so we'll probably circle back to it at some point because I'll just tell you, I had the 6 liter ranked number 3 for me because and probably it's nostalgia part of it. I think, Spencer, you having that 6 liter when we were in high school and all the fun we had with that truck. And, it just, you can just, the power that you can get out of a 6 liter, I think is just, and they just sound fantastic. Now they have their problems 100%. What I do think is if you can find someone who knows what they're doing, like you said, Jordan, you got to be careful with that. But if you can find someone and you can actually get some work done and get that 6 liter, get the faults corrected on it, because none of these trucks have zero faults, right? They all have their faults, but
Yeah.
then you get that corrected. I think they can make a fantastic truck for the price. But I'm with you. I would get an 05 to 07. I wouldn't get an earlier 6 liter, but.
So then what's your number 6?
My number 6 is the 2020 to present 6.7s.
That's my 6 as well.
Is it?
It is my 6.
Man. Yeah,
Mhm.
these trucks are outrageously expensive. I don't know who can afford these trucks. It just makes no sense to me. Who has, $100,000 or more to buy these trucks? I don't get it.
The bank does.
And I think a lot of these trucks are,
Over
there's a lot of these
time.
people that are buying them as a fully loaded platinum truck. And then they're saying that, they're like, or they have a business, a blue collar business, and they're using it as a tax write off. That's my only guess. I don't understand who can afford these. And they have the emissions systems, they have the emissions problems. And if you live in a state where that is something you can't really mess with, and then they still have the CP4 problems. That's a ticking time bomb, something you have to make, if you want to care for your truck, you need to take care of that. They have modules built on modules built on modules. There's just so much electronics in these trucks. They ride great. They're beautiful interiors. They have the best interiors for sure, but to me, they're too expensive. And I think, and they're not without their flaws.
See, to me, the 20 and up limited, and I mean, I can argue this with the 17s and up, they don't feel like Super Duties.
Yeah.
I'm so grown to the steel body Super Duty that the first time I ever drove or even ridden in a new Illumi-Duty, I felt like I was driving an oversized Explorer. Okay, that thing, they got too many luxuries in them. Okay, it's a goddamn pickup truck. It's supposed to ride a little rough. It's supposed
You're
to have
ready to be a
It
grandpa.
doesn't have to ride like a wagon.
No, it doesn't have to ride like a wagon, but it doesn't need to be super comfy. The highway's doesn't have as many bumps as off-road goes, but that's all these trucks are doing anyway. Like, why do we need to have it fucking soak up every pee in the mattress there, princess? I mean, and on the topic of how outrageous they are to purchase, yes. But that's, of course, after COVID, every truck has just gotten outrageous as far as value goes. There's no way that you can buy a 10-year-old truck for $20,000 anymore. The Illumi-Duties, I hated the way they looked when they first came out. They started to grow on me. 23 came out. I hate how they look. I don't like the step in the bed. That's just me. That's
See,
personal
I kind of
preference.
like the
I
step
kind of
in
like
the
that
bed.
actually.
Well, you see,
We're not 6.5 feet
we're
tall.
blessed with altitude over here. Okay. Now,
vertically
all of
challenged
us are.
compared to you.
on that note, though, these trucks are getting massive. Of course, there's To each their own
Can't
as
see
far
over the
as
hood.
so that becomes a problem as far as workability on it, or how easy it is to work on it. That we they feel like they're twice the size of what a steel cab, what a 6-liter used to be.
I think a lot of that's the dash. How
Yeah.
large the dash is compared to like a 6-liter 7.3, where the HVAC is outside of the cab.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It just makes them
Absolutely.
feel huge inside.
Yeah. Yeah. But I will say that the design of the 6.7 is pretty awesome. I love how they inverted the exhaust and the intake.
That's brilliant.
The external injectors, that has its own faults with corrosion and everything, but the CP4 again, the CP4 is just a disaster across all platforms. But because we got cool guys around, we got the DCR replacement, we have the CP3 belt driven replacement. It's we The aftermarket for these trucks is not only very awesome, it's uh, very large, but it's also growing, and so that's why, um, really, that's kind of in the middle of the field for me. It's a necessary evil to upgrade. So,
I
Yeah.
my 6.7s are are torn because my fifth pick, I had the steel body 6.7s, the 2011 to 2016s was my number fifth choice. And honestly, most of this has to do with styling. I just don't really care for the styling all that much. I don't like the fenders. Just something off about it for me. They're really solid trucks. There's really hardly anything bad you can say about them, I think. But to me, most of it has to do with styling. And once again, I still think that these trucks are significantly overpriced for what you get. Um, they still have the same mission stuff I mentioned. They have the CP4 problem I mentioned, but I do like, I think they're better than the 2020 to present 6.7s because they have that significantly robust 6-speed behind them. That I don't think you need to really make any modifications to in order if you're gonna to keep a running truck if you want to increase the power on these trucks.
mhm. Well, I mean,
But
really,
you guys would know better than me on that.
really,
What do you think?
the 6.7 is insane because all you gotta do is hit the up button on the tune, right? That's what Ford does, essentially.
More or less, yeah.
Um, of course, we can go through the different reiterations of all the different parts that they changed out from 11 all the way up, but um,
Yeah.
um, that 10 speed is insane. The we were A good friend of mine has a 22 and a long bed. We get in there and he has a full tank and we can go 1,000 miles. And this is an intact truck. I can go from
Wow,
Colorado to Illinois in one tank. The only thing
that's
stopping
wild.
me is my bladder. Okay, that's insane. But I haven't had a whole lot of experience with the 10 speeds as far as repair goes. I think Jordan probably has more experience with
See,
that one.
yeah, the 10R140 is not as bad as the 10R80s and like the F-150s and Expeditions. Um, we really don't see a ton of problems on the 10R140 that isn't just a valve body. It's kind of hard to say because not a lot of them are up in high mileage yet, but we are starting to see some at 200,000 that, the 10 speed's still shifting
Still
strong.
holding on, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Really, the 6 speed's only fault is it can only hold up to 650, I believe is what the spec is, or what has been proven. But again, who's driving around anything more than a 500, 600 horse
Yeah,
street
there's
truck?
Yeah,
no
one yeah once
drivability.
yeah once you get too high in the power numbers, it's not really enjoyable to drive these things on the
Yeah,
street.
the last few transmissions I've replaced have been the 6R140s. And it's usually the 11 to 14s because they have, or 11 to 16.
So they have 300,000 on them.
They're pretty high up there, 200s, or the lowest one was like 140. But I think what kills them is the thermostat inside the trans, because you don't get tranny cooler flow until almost 200-degree trans temp.
Wow. Yeah, heat's the enemy of any transmission.
Yeah, but they need a fair amount of heat to operate, though. They run better that 180 to 200-degree mark. That's what that fluid's designed for.
You see that my number one. Are we allowed to go to number one?
You can jump ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Here's my number one was a toss up between 6 liter 03 to 07 or 11 to 16 6.7. Okay, if I had my way, I had unlimited money, I'd go out right now and I'd fix my 6 liter, get it done. But then I'd go out and I'd pick up a 16 F350 because it still feels like a Super Duty to me. It has enough of the upgrades that the factory upgrades, I should say, that we don't necessarily have to worry about too much except for say an injection pump. But that to me would be the bee's knees. I would like a 16 1-ton to take care of everything that I need.
Mm-hmm. They are great trucks. I think they are probably the best candidate for if you wanted to resto mod and throw an old cab on take a 70s Ford cab and throw it on a newer truck. I think it's hard to argue with the 11 to 16 Fords. I just can't get behind the styling. I don't know, but that's my personal preference. I really, it's hard for me to rank it so low personally. But a lot of it is it just doesn't do anything for me. I think you start to get the feel of the modern truck, which is, like you said, Spencer, it's kind of squishy. But I don't know. It's just slow for me. What's your, Jordan, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is the 6.4.
I would have thought you'd have the 6.4 higher.
He's smart.
I think it's a big difference whether, like, kind of perspective wise, like for me working on it myself,
Yeah,
it ranks up a little bit higher. It, like you were saying, it's the first generation of truck that has good creature comforts. You got a nav radio, you have heated seats, you've got a 3-gallon center console, and they look good. They ride good.
mm-hmm.
Everything bad about it is in front of the firewall.
Yeah.
And if it's something you're comfortable with working on, are the parts really expensive? They can be, but I mean, it's not like putting injectors in a 7.3. It's you're doing a fuel pump and injectors and lines and everything, and while you're there, you're doing head gaskets or
You're single swapping it.
Or you're swapping pistons. Yeah. But I mean, for me, 270,000 miles on mine, the cab's been off once, and that was me replacing a cracked up pipe. So
Yeah,
I think they are probably the worst generation for luck of the draw. Do you get a good one, or you get one that's gonna cost you every dime you got?
I think the 6.4 bodies style are going to become the number one use of for Fummins. I think
They
you're
already
gonna
are.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see. Well, yeah, you're right. They already are. The people are putting, common rail Cummins in these things because you can get.
But they're still using the 5R110.
Yep,
They are still using
because
5R.
it's better than what came behind the Cummins. So
All of them.
I mean, essentially, if you're looking apples to apples as far as replacing a blown up 6.4, putting a Cummins in it, the cost isn't all that much above swapping a 6.4. And as of course, this is using a used Cummins.
yeah,
Right.
It's not a reman Cummins. It's not. This is a junkyard Cummins. But
It's basically a donor truck swap.
right.
Is the best way to do that.
So, but to get all the parts to support the swap and everything, and including the donor motor, the cost is almost right there, right in line with the
right,
reman
and
6.4.
arguably more logical.
It depends on.
I don't know.
Yeah. Spencer,
The
what's your?
stock to stock? The 6.4 makes pretty good power.
Well, they can run. They can run. That engine can run. There's a reason why the people that love 6.4s, they love them because they can run.
Yeah, they do too. We did.
Spencer, what was your number 5?
My number 5 would probably end up being the. I would probably put the 99 to 03 7.3 in there. It's it's a truck that it's super reliable. Like George said, didn't have any power to get up out of its own way, but you know what? It because it doesn't have any power, it doesn't hurt itself, and so if it does, it just keeps on moving. There's been countless 7.3s out here that just don't deserve to be on the road, and I tell my customers and my friends, man, we just need to put a bullet in this thing, but it just keeps on going down the road. And so that to me, it's a good old truck that the downfall of it for me is the fact that every grandpa, every kid wants these trucks because of how it's at that price point where a high school kid could get it, or grandpa that wants to go down to Florida in the winter, hauls camper down there, is looking for I don't want a pre-emission. I don't want that DEF. I don't want that Panther pest shit in my truck. I just want something that goes down the road and I can have heat and AC, damn it. And I think a lot of that is killing the value of these trucks. It's really freaking to find a clean 03. We're looking at the same price of picking up, say a high mile 11 or a fairly decent 6-liter. So it kind of hurts itself in my eyes that way.
I put the 99 to 03 as my number 4 choice for the exact reasons that you put it.
Yeah. So if we were to if we were to go up the list, of course, I'd put the 92 to 97 7.3 up there about my 3-4 pick, just because we got the style, man. I want to look like grandpa, but I want I want to have the power of a Powerstroke. They're again, everybody and their grandpa, every kid goes on Instagram and sees an OBS, and I gotta have one of those. And next thing you know, freaking a 100,000-mile OBS is now $40,000. Why?
I put the OBS 7.3 as my number 2 choice, and one of my biggest regrets is when I came back from my last deployment in 2021, and I was looking for a diesel truck, and I was looking for an OBS Ford. I couldn't find one I wanted one in good condition, and I couldn't find one for about $15,000 was my limit. And, I found a couple that were in really good shape for about $20,000. And I remember at the time thinking, that's an outrageous price. I'm not going to do that.
Well, Jordan,
and
you
now
remember when we were
now they're
buying
even
yours?
higher than, now they're even higher than that. And I should have done it. I should have just bought the Bullet and I should have noticed that. All right, well, obviously the price of these trucks are going up. You know, they've hit their bottom. Now their value is going to go back up, and it's obvious it's probably not going to plateau or go back down. So you might as well jump in it at some point. And
I think a clean, low mileage one will keep going up, but everything else is going to tank.
Yeah. Well, when did we buy? When did you buy yours, Jordan?
When?
Yeah, that was like what,
Um,
2010 or no? That would have been
No,
2014.
2012, 2013.
would have been 2013.
And at
That's when
that
I bought
time,
that.
I can't remember what you paid for it, but I thought it was outrageous what you paid
It
for
was
it.
like $7,000.
I thought that was insane. There was, I mean,
Yeah.
there was 11 grand for that truck. Like at that time, there were lower mile trucks going for about 11 or 12, if I remember right. And
Yeah.
even then, I'm fucking grandpaing it over here. That's outrageous. That's more than what that truck cost new. Why the hell are we doing that? But again, should have bought them all.
Yep. Yep.
Should have bought them. Yeah, should have bought 4 of them. Yeah, it's one of my deepest regrets is not coughing up a little bit more money for an OBS 7.3. But you know, who's to say that the Cummins I bought instead, it got stolen. So you know, if I bought an OBS, maybe I would have lost that too. So
Probably. They're about the easiest thing to
They're
steal.
so easy to steal.
Knowing my luck, but yeah, I put it as my number 2 choice.
See, that was my number 4.
Your 4. Not only do I love the styling of them, but to me, it feels like an old school truck. And there's something to be said about that old school truck feeling.
Rides like one too.
That's part of it. Like that is, I remember you picked me up from the airport once in your 7.3 and we're driving down the highway and I'm just, you know.
Yeah. The concrete roads.
Yeah. Yeah, just on the interstate, just bouncing away, and I'm going, man, I thought this truck rode better than this. So they're definitely flawed, but there's just a character to them, and that 7.3 sound is just iconic, and yeah, I'm just gonna say it again. And this is the last time I say it, I should have bought one.
See, I like the interior on them because it's simple.
Yes.
You don't have a 12-inch radio screen. You don't really even have a center console. You got your flip down seat and that's really it.
Really, the OBS is at that kind of border where you have the style and kind of the functionality of a vintage vehicle, but you still have the power and the functionality of a modern vehicle.
Yeah. Now, if we were to like do a modified 7.3 versus other stuff, if you did a 94 to 97 with the Super Duty or the 05 and up axle swap on it,
You resto
I'd probably
mine this thing?
I'd probably rank it a lot higher.
Yeah. What's your 3, 2, and 1?
Me?
Yep.
Number 3 is the 2020 and up 6.7. Kind of the same deal. There's too much going on in the interior. It's too much electronics compared to even the 17 to 19s. I don't hate the 10-speed in the Super Duties. I don't prefer it for driving. Like, I think it feels weird when you're driving, but it does have its benefits. It keeps you right in the power band almost the entire time. You throw that thing in tow haul, exhaust brake on. I mean, you can do up to Eisenhower and back, and you're really not using the brakes. It's a truck that will just go. But you fight the cost, the complexity of the electronics. You gotta damn near have a electrical engineering degree to figure out some of the stuff on these things.
Yeah, these are harder for the average person to repair and keep.
Yeah,
keep
there's
going.
a lot of stuff you can't do without the factory scan tool even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then my number 2 is the 11 to 16 6.7, the steel body. And then my number 1 is the 17 to 19s.
That
And
was
this
my
is
number.
not based on styling.
Yeah. So I had the same number 1 as you, the 17 to 19 Aluma Duty 6.7s.
Yeah.
I'm also not I only like one format styling wise. I only like the Platinums.
See, I don't like the Platinums.
Would
I
you
like the.
care explain why you like the Platinums? Just how fancy they are?
He's
I think
bougie.
well, so if you don't get a Platinum, you get this, headlight look and then just 2 giant solid bars that I don't love the styling of it. But the Platinum grill has like the bars have all these little vents in them, all these little holes in them, and I think that looks, for some reason, that looks better to me. And
Yeah. I just don't
uh,
like chrome.
yeah, the Platinums came with, I think it wasn't a full chrome grill. I think it was kind of a matted silver
Or
grill, and I
brushed or
just,
something?
yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
brushed
brushed aluminum look.
yeah, and I just think that looks better styling wise. I like it styling wise better than the 11 to 16 Super Duties. But I like the 2020 to present styling better, but I think the 17 and 19s, you're all the great things about the late steel bodies 6.7s that we've talked about. They just run. Those trucks just run. They're good.
Mhm.
There's very few things wrong with them.
The turbo update was good. The fuel system was rated to, I think, 29,000 in the
Mhm.
17 to 19s versus like 27 in previous gens.
I think the price is more more within, I think, a reasonable range for these trucks too, for what you get for them.
Yeah. And honestly, we haven't seen the CP4 problems like apparently the rest of the Facebook world has.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a few failures, but I mean, most of these failures are caused by contaminated fuel, in my opinion. Or lack of maintenance, straight up starvation of the pump and
Thank you.
putting death in
Thank
the
you.
fuel. I don't necessarily think the pump is as bad as everyone says. Yeah, is it as robust as a CP3? No. But you're asking so much more out of this truck than you were with a CP3 truck.
Yeah. You can just get a lot higher pressures with a CP4 than a CP3.
Correct.
I think the what's really hurting what is really affecting him is the maintenance, and the fuel quality. Really, wherever you're getting your fuel at, you really want to be kind of cautious of. But what I've
That
noticed,
water and fuel light does mean something.
it does.
You
Fuel
don't mean I don't
filters.
have to ignore it?
Fuel filters do need changed every now and then, but what I've noticed is that obviously we see it more problem on Duramaxes, mostly because lack of a lift pump. The lift pump is the biggest thing that I think is what's saving the CP4s on the Fords, just because it has that extra flow on the back end. Because I believe, if I remember right, the boys at S&S Diesel say that the biggest downfall of the CP4 is cavitation, and so the
Don't let it cavitate.
best way to combat it is, in my opinion, a lift pump to help support it. And so
So are people putting fast systems or bully dog systems on these 6.7s?
No,
No,
Really?
not
they're
really.
just using
The factory
factory
frame fuel
lift
pump, or when you get to the 17 and ups, they're in tank, but they're making 70 psi of fuel pressure up to that
Dang.
pump. There is absolutely no need unless you're doing full on race truck.
Unless there's a demand for that much fuel. Yeah.
Yeah, those low side pumps push a lot of fuel. It'll empty a full tank in 20 minutes if you just turn the pump on.
Well, Spencer, what was your top three? I think you might have mentioned your number one already.
Yeah, for the most part, gosh, now I can't remember. I believe it was Super Duty, power 7.3, 6 liter, and then your 11 to 16, the steel body 6.7.
Steel bodies. So that's interesting because obviously we have a lot of similarities, but we're also wildly different based on a couple things. We can agree on a lot of things, yet our rankings are very different. And just goes to show you that everyone's got their own preferences and thoughts on this topic. And so when you're sending us a comment saying we don't know, like the 7.3 is God's gift to the world, and anything lower, putting a 7.3 not at number one is sacrilegious.
7.3 shall rise again.
That's your opinion. It's different than ours, and that's all right. All right. So, do we want to talk about the next main topic, which is towing, or do we want to get into the battle royale? We spent a little bit more time on these trucks than I was expecting.
Save the towing for the next one, and let's just go to battle royale.
All right, battle royale it is. This is who can debate and who can defend what they believe is the best overall deer hunting cartridge. And my opinion, I think it's a 270 Winchester. I've always hunted out west and mule deer country, have not done a lot of hunting out east in the whitetail country, and I know that there are some states that you can't even use a 270 in it. And if that's the case, you got to use what you need to use. But I think if you're hunting deer, I think a 270 is the best option. Spencer, what do you think?
You know, from being out east with the whitetail boys, for years we've had to mess with the 12 gauge slug, and that is my cartridge of choice in our new Battle Royale, because you know when you got a bunch of boys out here that love drinking beer and chasing deer down, there's nothing better than throwing a whole bunch of lead down range and hoping that it hits something, because you only got one shot. You better make it count. Okay. So that is.
And I'll pick the.
Go ahead.
I'll pick the OBS 7.3 of the rifle cartridges at the 30-06.
30-06. It's your pick and my pick are so similar. I was looking up, differences between a 270 and a 30-06, and the 270 is based on the 30-06 cartridge. They took the casing from a 30-06, they necked it down to a 270 bullet, and so
yeah,
the
270 keeps some long range velocity over the 30-06.
Yeah, it's a flatter shooting round. It has slightly higher pressure capability, so you can make the 270 round a little hotter than a 30-06. But the 30-06 comes with a 30 caliber bullet, which puts a bigger hole in things. And both options have great bullet choices. There's tons of, the modern powders have really brought the 30-06 into the modern world and has allows it to compete again.
Yeah.
The 12 gauge slug is, I think, great for your whitetail farm, where you get hunting out east in, Ohio or Illinois, where you set up a bait stand and you got a blind, and you're sitting there waiting for a monster whitetail to come by. There's no denying that the 12 gauge slug is putting a lot of lead down range. It is about as much lead as you can put down range in one time.
And more than twice you boys are putting down.
It's not about how big it is, Spencer.
All I'm saying is if you're looking into traffic, a Corvette does less damage than a bus, okay? That's all I'm saying, boys. Of course, we got a little bit more recoil with the shot. The 270 is going to be more comfortable to shoot. However, when it comes to damage, wherever you hit the damn deer, you want to make sure that you either can track her down or it's going to fall.
I think a 12 gauge is fantastic for those 50 yards, maybe a 100-yard shot. But trying to hunt deer out west, it's not really feasible.
Different
Yeah, I
hunting
think
styles
it's
for sure.
Yeah, different hunting styles, different terrains, climate even.
Yeah. Now the 30-06, it is a great round. It's that you got that 30 caliber bullet, but I was looking up the recoil, and for a 270, you've got less than 15 pounds of recoil on when you're shooting it. The 30-06, you're looking at closer to 18 to 20 rounds of recoil, depending on the grain of bullet you're shooting.
You can fix that with some meat on your bones.
Go to the gym, get a little bigger. No big deal.
Put a little more spinach on you, boy.
What I like about the 270 though is with the less recoil, I'm not as concerned about going to a lighter rifle. And when you're doing a lot of hiking, weight is your enemy. And so I do like that with a 270. I'm not as constricted by wanting maybe a heavier rifle to soak up some of that recoil.
Yeah. That's fair. Do you have specs for your 270 up?
I do. We can compare. So for a 270, 130 grain AccuBond round, it's coming out of the muzzle at 3,074 feet per second. At the 30-06, 150 grain partition is coming out at around 3,000 feet per second. Now the 30-06 has almost 3,000 foot-pounds of energy, whereas the 270 is 2,730, so 2,730 foot-pounds of energy. So the 30-06 has more energy.
Yeah. And I've been using the Hornady Superformance 165s.
Oh, yeah.
Which is coming out at 3,000, and you're carrying 3,200 out of the muzzle.
Yeah, that's a hot
energy.
That's a hot.
That's a cooker.
30-06. That is not a normal 30-06. That is a cooking 30-06.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they should be.
She got the
You're
bacon.
gonna make me. You're gonna make me look. You said a Hornady. What's the Hornady Superformance 270?
I got your 270 up right here.
Okay.
Muzzle velocity is 3,090 feet per second, and your muzzle energy. This is with a 140 SST, by the way.
Okay.
Your muzzle energy is 2,968 foot-pounds.
That's
out
pretty
of that
good.
Hornady Superformance.
What's the range drop at 300 and 400 yards?
With a 200 yard zero, you're dropping 6.1 at 300, 17.6 at 400. Versus
That's the 270.
That's the 270. And my
Spencer,
165 30-06 is dropping, with a 200 yard zero, it's dropping 6.9 at 300 and 20.1 at 400.
300 to 300 at 300-yard shot, I want a 30-06.
Mhm.
A 500-yard shot, I want a 270.
It's only 5-inch difference at 500 yards.
Yeah, it was you gave me a
drop.
400. Spencer, what's your drop at 300 yards?
That's a
How many
lob.
feet?
For a shotgun, that's a lob. I tell you what, boys, to get anywhere close to your velocity, I got to have a rifled slug, right? But let me
Yeah.
tell you, I can break skin at 30 miles an hour on a deer, okay? The blunt force of a Tahoe proves that, okay? If I'm anywhere over 30 miles an hour with this damn slug, we're doing fine, okay? We're going to kill the deer. All right. But of course, we don't have the long ranges where we're at. Of course, the long shot is not in the possibility, but skin is skin. Okay. All I need is 1,300. We got it. Dead deer.
Like,
That's fair.
I like the 12 slug. It puts a big freaking hole in it.
Big hole. And really, every gun is different, of course, but it's going to remain on the shooter to put the bullet where it needs to be, right? And we all have those times where we get the deer shakes, the big buck shakes, like, oh my God, that's a wall hanger, guys. So how accurate your shot going about doing one of these things? You want a big hole. That's how you kill the deer. All right.
Yeah.
big hole, more bleeding.
Big
Yep.
hole, dead deer.
Big hole, dead deer.
Dead deer. For me, I think the 30-06 is a great round. I just like the fact that the 270 has less recoil, allows me to go with a lighter rifle. And you know me, I don't like sitting down on a hill. I like walking. So if I'm going to go ruck 9 to 10 miles through the Western mountains, a lighter rifle is beneficiary.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I'm
in the market for a 270.
Shoot.
My 30-06 is actually a pretty light gun.
Yeah. I like
It's-
your 30-06.
It's about the same weight as my 243. So the felt recoil is a little higher. You're not going to go
Yeah.
shoot 20, 30 rounds out of this thing on a range day.
No.
It's going to get a little stiff.
No, what's nice about both of these rounds is almost any rifle manufacturer makes a 30-06. Almost any rifle manufacturer makes a 270. So you can get just about any rifle you want chambered in these rifles. And that goes back to, if you're an old classic rifle guy and you want a pre-1964 Winchester Model 70, you can get one of these in a 30-06 or a 270, but you're not going to get one of those rifles in a 6.5 PRC or a
Right.
308 or something like that. That's just
Part of my
you're just
other
not gonna
choice
see
for
it.
this is if you're out hunting, say you got a cardboard box of ammo, you're out, you end up dropping the box in the creek. What are you going to do to find more ammo or something like that? So you lose it, whatever. 30-06, 270, 243, 12 gauge. You're going to find that stuff anywhere
very readily.
that you can find ammo. It's not like a 7 PRC or a 6.5 PRC. Some of those 7 rum, which you're not shooting a deer with that, but you could.
You could.
You're going to lose half of
That's
it.
your God-given right as American.
Yeah.
It's nothing. We're not telling you you can't. You can. If you want a big hole in something, a 7
It's
rum
only a
is
7 mil.
Yeah, it's only a 7 mil, just cooking at like
It's only
3,600
going
feet per second.
4,000 feet per second. Yeah.
All right, so I think we're all right. Spencer, it's hard to beat a 12 slug, especially if your state only allows shotgun hunting and bow hunting and doesn't allow rifle hunting. I think a 30-06 is hard to beat up to 300 yards.
Yeah.
And I think a 270 is nice at a little further distance and less recoiling rifle.
Yeah. I think we got 3 different situations for practical uses for each caliber. So
All of them, yeah. Well, that's going to wrap it up for that segment. So we're going to move on to a special segment. This is going to be Jordan Steals, Deals, and Disasters.
Yeah. Let's go shopping.
I want to do some shopping. All right, let me get this set up here.
So this segment is Jordan's going to present us, something that he found on Marketplace for the week, and we're going to figure out if it's a steal, a deal, or it's a disaster, and you should stay away from things like this.
Here we go.
Hey, baby.
What do we got here? We got a 1966 International
Travelette.
Travelette, huh?
Yeah, that's International's coordinates for a 4-door pickup.
Yep.
So
Is this the bed that would have come on this?
It though that is the stock bed. I can't tell from the lugs here. Is that 6 lug, 8 lug?
It is 6 lug.
So it's a half ton.
It is. Yep.
I can't even hardly read the description from here. So I can.
Yeah. So we got 61K original miles, inline 6, 4-speed manual, dealer installed PTO dump bed,
Yeah,
Well, that's
buddy.
cool.
which explains why it sits a little higher.
Yeah.
Mhm.
International dealership replaced the engine, and the truck sat in a barn for 40 years.
I mean, you can't beat an old International. Of
Yeah,
course.
That's a. Sorry, go ahead, Spencer. I didn't mean to
What?
cut you off.
What's the price range? What do they want for this?
We're
beautiful
sitting at
piece?
$25,000.
Okay, here's the thing about Internationals, folks. Everybody and their fucking grandpa are starting to get into fucking Internationals. And the problem is that they think they're all worth gold. Okay. Internationals are a 13-letter shit spreader. You know what that means? They're freaking tractors with a cab around them. They weren't desired when they were new. Okay. They ride like crap. They're slow as hell, but they're cool to look at, and they're something different than a dent side or a square body. That's all you're paying for. That's all you're paying for, is to be different. Okay. This truck is probably, in my mind, 10 grand.
This is.
Yeah,
I think this is just
that's-
your ploy to try and keep the prices of these down so you can buy more.
Well,
this
This is our strategy
go
here.
spend 26 grand on this truck and tell me I'm wrong.
I
Okay.
I wouldn't spend that much money on it, but it's pretty unique. And if you really value being different, this is a pretty unique truck.
Yeah, this
I-
one's a little different than the one you see all rusted out and whatnot. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's a little past patina, but
it's not as rusty as I'm used to seeing old Internationals.
No,
Yeah.
I'll
comes with
pick
a free beef license plate though.
Fuck yeah, buddy. That's a farmer's right there. Internationals are badass. I love them. I'll pick everyone up that I can. But the parts, especially on this truck here, are next to impossible. You're better off looking off in an old magazine with an old phone number from a guy with an old IH freaking salvage yard, calling him up going, "Hey, you happen to have a window regulator for what is this, a 68?
66.
66, C series pickup?" And the other guy, old Harold, he's going to be on, "I thought I had one in the back corner. I'll have to get my walker out to look." That's what you're doing with Internationals, okay? There's a little bit more aftermarket coming in for them, but that truck is not worth that much, in my opinion. It's a badass truck. I want to own it. However, the International prices are insane.
I
So
think
what would you
about
say-
10 years ago, this would have been a $2,500 truck.
Yeah.
Easily.
So what do you think is a fair price for this?
Again, I think 10 to 12. 10 to
10 to
12. If the underside of this truck is super clean, a lot of times I don't know where this truck is located at. I'm guessing
It is located in Georgia.
So even if it's in the South, it's
Was a California truck.
let's see, even
I
that.
bet it's pretty clean.
If it helps out from, if the underneath is as clean as what the top is kind of looking like, I'd probably lean more towards 12 grand. But that's a badass pickup, and I hope he gets what he wants for it, because I'm not paying it.
Yeah,
Well, this is one we'll keep an eye on until he drops the price after a year.
yeah. Well, yeah, it's been sitting for 365 days. It pains me. We've kind of talked about this a little bit, but since COVID, just the prices of all these things have just shot through the roof. And yeah, it's just wild to see something like this not restored, because that price to me is like a fully restored truck.
Yeah. Or at least mostly restored, something along those lines, like original engine, but gone through the bodywork and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. New paint job. I'm leaning towards 10 to 15. Closer to the 10. 15 if I just, for some reason, just can't sleep at night because I'm thinking about it.
That's gonna be Spencer tonight.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much all in agreement. The 25 is a little much for this, but I'd still drive it.
All right. Well, I think the last segment today that we're gonna do this last segment, and that'll be the wrap it up for us. But Spencer, bring us into Spencer's 2 cents.
So here's Spencer's 2 cents for your time here on the podcast. Today's 2 cents is brought to you by our friend Farmer Fred. Farmer Fred would always come in and see me messing with any kind of stupid modifications that I'm trying to problem solve, and Farmer Fred comes in from behind and says, "Wouldn't have that if it was stock." And that, my friends, all of our problems wouldn't happen if we just stayed stock. And that is my 2 cents for you today.
I like it.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good 2 cents. Good little advice. You start messing with things start to break at a faster rate.
Yes, much faster.
Much faster. But all right. Well, any other final comments?
I'm having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, this has been good.
It's good to see you guys.
It is good to see you.
You too. Enjoy your snowstorm out there.
I get to go shovel.
Nice.
Well, that's a wrap. This is the inaugural episode of Fuel, Fire, and Freedom. If you love the show, feel free to smash that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star review, and tell us your worst burnout story, or tell us about a car you fight a bear to save. Anyways, follow us at Fuel, Fire, Freedom. We're on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the works. Drop your questions in the comments. Feel free to DM us with your truck fails, and we'll look forward to doing this again next week.